BTN Live continuing to follow the developments from Minneapolis as the Gopher football team continues its boycott after 10 players were suspended in advance of the scheduled December 27th Holiday Bowl matchup against Washington State. We touched on the national perspective with Nicole Auerbach of USA Today Sports. We got the possible legal ramifications from Larry DiNardo of Jones Day. And now we get some local reaction from a friend and colleague of ours, Glen Mason, of course, former Gopher coach who still makes his home in the Twin Cities. So, Mace, let's start there. What's the local reaction been like as this story continues to evolve?
Well, Rick, this is obviously a hot issue, and any place you go in the Twin Cities, they're only talking about two things right now. The looming major snowstorm that's about to hit us tonight, and this mess that the University of Minnesota has to deal with. And, you know, I've made the rounds, Rick, like I normally do, and I go to the coffee shops, and everybody wants to talk to me about it, and I want to talk to them about it. And there's two separate divisions of theater here. You know, there's one side that thinks, geez, they're siding with the players because everybody thought this was a dead issue. So this news hit everybody. They weren't aware that an investigation was going on, and the outcry by the players that no one would talk to them, give them any information that resulted in the boycott, they just think is deplorable. And on the other end is the people are saying, hey, wait a minute, the players, they might not like what's going on, but this sexual assault allegation, as we all know, is a very hot issue nationally, and it should be. Where are they coming off that they're demanding that these players be reinstated, even though they have admitted they don't have the facts, and if they're not reinstated, that they're going to boycott and not go to the bowl game. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation right now here in Minneapolis.
Well, Mace, it's being driven by the players, but Tracy Claeys is obviously involved, and reportedly he was initially a little bit lukewarm about supporting this boycott, went into the players-only meeting, came out, voiced his support for the players. Still, how tough is this situation for Claeys? Is he almost in a no-win spot regardless of what the outcome is here?
Well, he sure is now. You know, Rick, I hate to use this word, but someone's not telling the truth in this whole thing. President Kaler had issued a letter to boosters when they made the decision that the players were to be suspended, and he indicated, and I read the letter, where that he was in council with Mark Coyle, the athletic director, Tracy Claeys, the football coach, and they all decided this was the action that was going to be taken. And then Tracy was nowhere to be found. He was out in California, San Diego, at the Holiday Bowl press conference. And the players, when they had their protest and announced that they were boycotting, indicated that's not true. Tracy Claeys had no input into this, was not in agreement with the decision, that anybody that says that he was a lie. And then the only formal thing that has come out, Tracy Claeys tweeted that he was very proud of the players, and which indicated that he was on their side. And some of the assistant coaches stood with the players while they were protesting in the indoor practice facility.
Yeah, and Claeys has not clarified that. He has not said one way or the other, yes, I did or did not agree with the president, with the AD. So not in this situation specifically, Mace, but you were in coaching for a long time. How many of those kind of decisions made at the administrative level are made above the, for lack of a better term, above the pay grade of the head coach?
I would say most of them are, you know, Rick, to this degree, to this severity. And I guess they should be. You know, you don't let that in the coach, but he should be in the loop. And even though that you disagree, you're well informed of it. You sit down and you have your chance to say, you know, I am not in agreement with that. I found it quite interesting, Rick, when it first came out. And again, I mentioned that Tracy wasn't in town, but Jay Sawville, the defensive coordinator, secondary coach, was quoted in the paper. He was interviewed, and he said that, he didn't agree with that. And he knew for a fact that one of the players of the 10 wasn't even there, was totally innocent, was not present there, and that this suspension was uncalled for. And I find it hard to believe, and I mentioned this on my radio show yesterday, I've always believed, Rick, that the first advocate for players has to be the coach. and he has to advocate for them and protect them when they think they are not being treated fairly. Obviously, if they did something wrong, you expect them, to be punished accordingly. The next line is the athletic director. And I find it hard to believe that if this meeting took place with Coyle, the athletic director, Tracy Claeys, the coach, and the president of the university, or his designate, and they talked about this penalty, I find it hard to believe that if Tracy Claeys knew and believed that one of his players was being suspended and maybe even expelled and wasn't even there present, that he wouldn't have objected to that time and that would have been present when all this came out.
Yeah, I think lost is this he said. Like you said, Mace, somebody's clearly not telling the truth. So let's take this on the field. Practices have been missed. A cloud is hovering over the program. Even if, in the unlikely scenario this gets resolved, and Minnesota can play on December 27th, what's the effect on this football team on the field against Washington State?
Well, needless to say, if the players decide to play and the players stay suspended, a lot of these players are key players. A lot of the players are part of a secondary. And, if you're going to play a Mike Leach coach team at Washington State, that might be the most important position on the football team. A lot of times I've always thought, adversity either draws you apart or makes you stronger as a team. I would think that if the decision would be reversed, and I'm skeptical that could happen based on Kaler's comments on the facts that he knows and what this means to the university, it might rally them together and they might, play awfully well. But, time is passing quickly. I mean, you look at it, it's Friday, the weekend's coming. The 19th is going to be Monday, and I'm sure that the Peach, the Holiday Bowl out there saying, what are you going to do? And I understand that Northern Illinois is the team in waiting if Minnesota decides they're not going to go or they wait too long and they decide on Northern Illinois. The coach down there and the athletic director are going to be saying, hey, wait a minute, come on, you got to make your mind up. We've got to get our team ready. This is just a bad situation all the way around. And, the other thing, Rick, everybody questions the timing of this. They didn't know the investigation was going on. And I'm not trying to take a side here, but the investigation, was conducted by the EOAA, the Equal Opportunity and Affirmative Action Committee here at the university. And they wanted to know, what are the facts and not release them? Who did the investigation? Why did it take so long? And why does it come out now? It just seems to be a very poorly managed situation by the university.
Glen Mason with reaction, which we can consider both national and local. Mace, as always, appreciate the time.
Thank you.